Hello, class. Today we are talking about the creation of the Constitution and what that really means. As you know, the Constitution is the basic framework for the United States government, but it did not just happen overnight. It wasn't created overnight, and it wasn't an easy process. It took a lot of effort and a lot of time to get it going and to get it off the ground. So the revolution had completely changed the way people thought about freedom. And it didn't mean just independence from an empire or a tyrannical government anymore, but it meant a lot of different things to a lot of different people. For women, it meant independence in the home and freedom from an overbearing husband or an abusive husband. For African Americans, it meant freedom from slavery. And for indentured servants, it meant paid labor, wages, that sort of thing. And even Native Americans adopted the language of the Revolution into their relationships with whites. Uh, they demanded that their inalienable rights, as it were, be acknowledged and respected, and that they be treated fairly. Economic freedom also began to take on a new meaning. There were many forms of unfree labor in the United States, which you already know about: indentured servitude, slavery, and apprenticeships. But now, after independence, economic freedom didn't mean specifically being tied to an employment opportunity and having purchasing power. It meant freedom from anything that would encumber economic growth. And this meant to most people that they were entitled to land ownership. You also had a lot of people at this time reading Adam Smith's Wealth of Nations, which, put simply, proclaimed that if everyone were to be free to pursue their own self-interest, then the economy would hum along and grow on its own. And as a result, more wealth would be spread around and happiness would follow. Because as everyone knows, wealth buys happiness, right? I'm just going to adjust here. So this idea shaped the country in a very big way. Women were also changing their roles as a result of independence. They came to view themselves as essential agents in building the republic. It was up to them to educate children and those around them about the virtues of democracy and to encourage their husbands to participate in government, vote, run for office, that sort of thing. So while women weren't, allowed to vote or hold office, they did become very important political agents at this time. And no one really knew how to set up the government after the revolution. It was kind of all up in the air, and they didn't really have any sort of idea of what it would look like. Um, and there were all kinds of problems. Perhaps the biggest problem were land rights. You had a lot of people making land claims in Western lands, even states. Virginia, Massachusetts, all had massive land claims beyond the Appalachians. And so there arose conflicts of how to deal with these. And, um, and of course, Native Americans were posing a problem for these white settlers as well. And so the founders set out to establish a government that would resolve these conflicts. Um, but they also had to toe a line because it couldn't look like Great Britain's. So they came up with the Articles of Confederation, which served to unite the country behind a single legislative body. The articles gave the government to conduct foreign affairs, maintain an army, call up an army, that sort of thing. But unfortunately, it didn't provide any way for the government to raise the funds to do these things. So that posed a big problem. And so then within a few years, the whole thing falls apart, and the founders are thrown back at the drawing board to come up with a new idea. Hence the Constitution. So that's basically the lesson in a jiffy, and hope you enjoy it. Good luck.